call came in about 3:45 that there was 3 teenage boys missing. Their 3 bikes were found near a mine, and they're still missing. They had been missing since 3 o'clock the afternoon prior.
It's a very intricate network of mine shafts down that way. So the north is more of a grid pattern, but the south, it was like just a bowl of spaghetti. So we went in as far as we safely could.
And we're just looking for signs of life or any signs that someone had been there.
There was a lot of water. We were able to wade through some of it. The UW actually has a canoe that they store down in there for the areas where the water gets to about 8 feet deep. So we were able to set up a team on the canoe and search more of that area, but that left a portion of the mine that we could not get to. It was caved in, it was closed off to any access. So we knew if they were in the mine, the area that we cleaned, the north and all the south end that we could, we knew that there had to have been another access. And we were coming out of the south end tunnel and trying to line up Freddie's team to head back to staging. And that's when Freddie said that they were at an opening that one of the locals had said that we should check.
And at this point, we were actually on top of the cliff. And so when we were on top of the cliff, and on top of the cliff, there's a road that goes across the top of the cliff. And we were kind of looking over, and the dad looked at me and said, well, are you going to go down there, or am I going to go down there? And I kind of looked at him, and I was like, well, I guess we're going to go down there and check it out. I don't feel comfortable with you going down the side of the cliff.
We worked with, one of the dads was with us, and so we had a little more emotional aspect to it, and trying to stay professional too, and it was a different experience working with, the dad. He was getting emotional, but he was very determined to find him. Like he wasn't going to go anywhere. He made that clear a number of times.
We had communicated to the rest of my team to come down and help out, and while I was in there, it looked like it was just one area, very rugged, and looked like it had recently collapsed. And looking at the ceiling, it looked very unstable. But I climbed in a little bit further, and as I got over this, what appeared to be recently collapsed rubble, I could shine my flashlight down, and as far as you could see, there was a tunnel.
So Freddie we both went into the first void space together, and then we proceeded, it narrowed down quite a bit to about a 2x2 at the most, down a chute that was about 2 feet wide. A lot of jagged broken rocks, so Freddie was kind of keeping an eye on me as I advanced in. It was a slow process, a lot of unstable rocks. We weren't in a hurry to do it, and I think that helped the fact that it forced me to move slowly into the cave, and as I did that, I was just about to step forward, and I looked down to where I was going to step to make sure the ground was stable, and there was a perfect imprint of a tennis shoe in the mud in front of me. So we found that, and then we proceeded a little further, and we actually found an imprint of blue jeans on a rock in the mud there.
And it was a little concerning to us because we found some before this pile of rubble, and we found some after the pile of rubble. So we thought maybe they had gone in and this had collapsed. All kinds of thoughts are going through your head. Are they under this pile of rubble? Are they deeper in the cave? Could they, did this collapse and they couldn't get out, so they went further in? And we're looking at the conditions of the cave itself, and looking at rocks that are probably heavier than this fire truck behind us that are just hanging on over our heads by maybe a grain of sand. At least that's how it appears when you're in there, and you just have a flashlight and you're trying to figure out which way to go, which way to search. And we went in as deep as we could, as far as we felt we could safely go, and decided that we'd come back out and regroup again.
We had been searching at that time since 5:30, so the team was pretty tired and pretty ragged. We knew that Milwaukee was coming, and they also had an expert from the DNR with them that knew the cave very well.
At that time, Adam went back into the cave with Jenny, who was the specialist, and the captain, I believe his name was Brian McNulty from Milwaukee, and led them to the point where he found the shoe print and stuff. And then when Adam came back out, the remaining 2 members from Milwaukee proceeded in to link up with their other 2 members and investigate the cave further.
Felt like 5 minutes later they came out, and there was the 3 little boys with them. And looked down, and I went to reach, and I was expecting to have a firefighter's hand, and here's the hand of a 14-year-old boy, little skinny arm sticking out of there all dirty. And then there was another one, and then there was another one. And it was just a very happy and rewarding time.
The boys, as the boys were coming out, Freddie and I were both at that hole, and we asked, each one of them, "Are you all right?" And they just kind of looked at you like, "Yeah, I'm fine, and it kind of seemed like they were a little bit of a shock, a little just unaware. They obviously didn't know what was happening, what was going on, the level of the amount of people that were there looking for them at that time. They had no idea.
Obviously, they had spent the night in a cave where the temperature's mid-50s. They were wearing T-shirts and jeans, so hypothermia may have been a factor. Hungry, thirsty, dehydrated. Once they got out, we started walking them down the trail. We're talking to them a little bit. You could see they started to realize, and they were very, very happy to be out of there.
Told them that their parents were down waiting for them, families were down there waiting for them, and that they're going to get a lot of hugs and kisses, and then probably be in big trouble.
Well, I don't know if they realize how big that mine is.
Right.
And when you're 14 or 15 years old, you go off and you're just exploring.
The scary part, or the nerve-wracking part, was it was really relayed to me from the Milwaukee guys that they had gone in, they had done their search, gotten a little bit further than Adam and Freddie. The DNR, the gal from the DNR knew the cave and knew exactly where to go. And they exhausted as far as they could go themselves, and they were actually on their way back. The boys had seen their flashlight bouncing around in the cave at that point, and were able to, and then woke up, saw it, and then started hollering for the Milwaukee guys to come get them, or they made their way to the Milwaukee firefighters. So had they not seen that light, had they not woken up at that time, if they would have made it out of the cave, we would have deemed that entrance searched. Mm-hmm. And
so, yeah, I don't think they realize how lucky they are,
Right.
because if we had left that cave, we would have marked it. That would have been our secondary search, and we never would have went back. So who knows if they would have kept sleeping, and we might never have ever seen them again.
The amount of teamwork that was put into it, not just by us in the city here, but all the other departments involved, Mavis, the sheriff's department, everything like that. It's all just a giant team effort, and it worked great, pretty flawlessly.
Iron Ridge is a small volunteer fire department, and their fire chief that actually ran the situation and ran the entire scene, Jason Beck is his name. He's also a deputy for the Dodge County Sheriff's Department. The guy was awesome. He did a great job.
After it was all said and done with, it was just a big sigh of relief, and everyone was really happy.